Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to discuss a rumor that has been circulating throughout the gaming community over the past few days. And that's whether Naughty Dog president Neil Druckmann could potentially be leaving the studio. Now, and before we dive into this topic, I want to make something very clear. At the time of recording this video, this is still a rumor. There has been no official confirmation from Naughty Dog or PlayStation, and as always, it's important to separate confirmed information from internet speculation. That being said, the rumor itself has gained enough attention that I think it's worth discussing. Not because we know it's true, but because it raises some interesting questions about the current state of Naughty Dog. So today we're going to look at where this rumor came from, why so many people believe it, what it could mean for the studio, and whether there's actually, any evidence behind it. With that out of the way, let's get started. Now, if you've been following Naughty Dog over the past several years, maybe, you've probably noticed that the studio has become one of the most talked about developers in the industry. Not always because of its games, but because of the conversations surrounding them. Neil Druckmann has become one of the most recognizable figures in gaming, and naturally that also makes him one of the most divisive. Some players, and I'm not one of them, appreciate the direction he has taken the studio. Others strongly disagree with many of the creative decisions made over the last few years, and I stand in that group. And personally, I want to be transparent here. I love a lot of the Naughty Dog games, like The Last of Us 1. It's difficult to deny that Part 2 became one of the most controversial first-party PlayStation releases in recent memory. And that brings us back to today's rumor. According to several posts circulating online, Neil Druckmann could potentially be leaving Naughty Dog. However, there's one major issue. Nobody seems to know where the rumor actually started. And after looking through multiple discussions and articles, most of them reference social media posts, anonymous claims, or other creators discussing the rumor rather than an original source, that doesn't automatically make the rumor false. But it does mean we should approach it with a healthy amount of skepticism. Whenever a story like this appears online, it's very easy for it to spread quickly, right? Even when very little evidence exists. So instead of asking whether the rumor is true or not, I think a more interesting question is, why are so many people willing to believe it? Let's look at the facts. The studio hasn't released a brand new game in several years. And during the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 generations, Naughty Dog consistently delivered major titles. Like I said, we saw games like Uncharted 3, The Last of Us, Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy, or Uncharted 5. And eventually The Last of Us Part 2 that was, as I also mentioned, was very controversial and divisive. That was an incredibly productive period for the studio. And since then, however, things have slowed down considerably. We know that a multiplayer project based on The Last of Us was cancelled after years of development. We also know that Naughty Dog's next major title, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, has reportedly been in development for quite some time now. Large AAA games naturally require many years to build, and that's expected. But when a studio with hundreds of developers goes several years without releasing a new title, people naturally begin asking questions. Large studios invest tens or even hundreds of millions of dollars into a single project. The long development takes, the higher those costs become. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's a problem. Many successful games spend 6 or 7 years, maybe even in development. Something like, I believe, Red Dead Redemption 2 took 5 years. Other games could take from 6 to 7 years. That depends. But it does increase expectations. Players want to see what all that time has produced. Another reason this rumor gained attention is because of Intergalactic itself. When the reveal trailer was released, the reactions were mixed, right? So some people were excited to see Naughty Dog working on a completely new universe. Others weren't convinced and preferred the studio return to one of the existing franchises. Every new IP receives mixed reactions at first. The real test will come once players actually experience the finished game. Now, here's something I think important to remember. Even if Neil Druckmann were to leave Naughty Dog, let's say tomorrow, for example, right? I don't think that would suddenly stop projects like Intergalactic or a future The Last of Us Part 3. Although nobody's sure that this project is going to be realized, but you never know. Studios this large don't revolve around a single individual. I believe so. I don't know, maybe you disagree with me, but I don't think that these large studios just depend solely on one person. There are hundreds of artists, programmers, designers, writers, producers, who else? Engineers, right? All of those contributing to every project. Sure, creative direction matters, but these games represent the work of entire teams, not just one person. What this discussion does reveal, however, is just how much attention people continue to pay to Naughty Dog. Whether players love the studio, criticize it, or simply remain curious about the future, it's still one of the most influential developers in the industry. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel because it really helps support future content. Thanks so much guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.